name is Joel. I am acting in MediaCorp, and my dad is also an actor.
Who is your dad?
My dad is Suhoran.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ayden.
Hello, Ayden.
Hi, I'm 26 this year. I'm also acting in MediaCorp.
My name is Nathan.
Hello, Nathan.
Hi, thank you. I am a singer, musician, occasional actor.
Hi, I've known you back before.
No,
Hi,
hi.
for everyone.
I just
It's a new face.
New face, yeah. Last week.
My name is Ben. Commonly mistaken 3 times on street for Nathan Hartono. I get Joseph schooling.
You really?
Yeah.
I am Adrian Pang.
I
can see that.
Yeah?
I'm Alex. I moved here and I was helping my cousin out at her bakery. At Scouts start doing commercial modeling. Now I'm taking lessons, I'm acting a bit more.
It's interesting because we have, I guess, many different stories coming to the industry.
Yeah.
Obviously, some getting their start way before the era of social media. Here's my question, and maybe Gurmit, you can start us here, is how do we create, like, in an era of, transient consumption of media, how do we
You
create...
use lower English.
In the era of social media,
Yeah.
how do we create careers that last longer than a trend?
Well, I don't think it's about social media. I think it's about your attitude, your respect for others, your persona. The social media is just another platform. I mean, in my day, there was no social media. It was just TV, just one station, one channel, and it was called SBC back then. If you want to stay long in this industry, you have to pay your dues. And I think a lot of the young ones who come in, they say, I can do that too. They come in and then realize, what, I have to film for 12 hours, I have to stand in the sun. To sustain your career, I always believe that you have to have respect for everybody in the room, in the project. And I've gone out on stage to receive my award, and I always make sure that I thank everybody.
This is true. I did a movie with you and you knew every name on set.
Yep.
Like from start to finish.
Except
And,
yours, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he always called me Jason, but whatever.
All of us play a role. No matter how small you think your role is important to me, and vice versa. And I think that's how we worked in Phua Chu Kang and how it became such a success. And everyone was so creative and contributive because they knew they were in a safe place and they were respected.
I mean, like, you always hear stories about, or rumors about people with bad attitudes in the scene, from other cast members to like directors or whoever.
Yeah.
Any stories of you guys sort of like entering, let's say, a situation where the tension is real?
I guess my analysis of the industry is that there are a lot of like legacy cultural factors that allow people to be the way that you describe. But I feel that because this is the way that the industry is set up, there is more leeway for people to be not so respectful. But at the same time, people are coming to realize that this industry doesn't have to be this way.
But this is so interesting because, like, I guess before the social media bubble burst, right? I will always hear this whole phrase of earning your stripes. Was this something you ever talked about with your dad? How did he prep you into this new world that you entered?
You have directors who make you question yourself whether you should actually be in this industry. I would just sit there and ask myself, is this right for me? There'll be high times and low times, so I have to learn to cope with it.
You mentioned you were feeling frightened or nervous and all that. Right? I think that's a good thing. Even till today, after being 30 years in the industry, I still feel nervous before I go on stage or before a camera. And I think that's good because that means you care. As opposed to that, the other side of the spectrum would be you're jaded, you just don't care at all. You go on stage, you do whatever you want, and then you could be bothered with what they think or what they say. And I think that's when you should leave the industry.
I think the question here is whether or not this so-called like rite of passage, is there a better way of doing things?
I don't think there's a rite of passage per se. I think it's like really everyone finds their own path, right? Everyone has their own like journey, everyone finds their own direction. Going on stage is still kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Being on the camera is still kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Certain companies and media like literally rank their personalities.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really a caste system when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
Can you do a good job and like consistently do it? Do you work on it on your own time? And if you do all of those things, if you're strong in your own power, if you can stand on your own 2 feet, then like I don't really see how anyone can shake you. And I don't really see how someone who has done more then has more of a right than you. But if I really invest the time and the effort to do something, I never ever feel like I'm out of place. How much of your success thus far is attributed to the way you look? Do you guys think about that, and to what extent? And yeah, a lot of people overlook the fact that guys have image issues as well. I think a lot of guys overlook the fact that we also, as brutish and large as our egos might tend to be, they're also very easily bruised. It's a weird industry to be in, man, with that kind of thought, especially like when so much of it is based on the thing that people are looking at. A shirtless picture will get like so much more likes than like just say like honest post about like, oh, I went to the park today and for a nice walk and met a duck. It's just how it works. It's so important and it's kind of like the foot into the door, but it's not the end all be all. You don't have to play the game that everyone else is playing. Back to what I said before about standing strong on your own 2 feet. But the looks thing is a conundrum though, because it is so much of what people focus on it.
But I also think it's the genre that you do, isn't it? When it's drama, people look more at the physical side of things. When you do comedy, they're just looking at how you make them laugh, and if you make them laugh enough, they don't care if you look like shit.
And a rap actually told me this, that if you want to do hip hop, you want to do comedy, you have to be ugly. But I think what he meant was that you can look striking. You either make sure you look good and you maintain your weight, or you have a look.
I think that's important. When you're doing whatever you're doing, you have your own look, and you come across authentic.
I completely agree. Like, it's all about confidence in that sense. You can look like however, you can dress yourself really nicely, but if you're not confident, then it really shows. They're looking for anything that is really noteworthy in your performance. So it's not about how you look, it's how you perform or how you present yourself.
So if your shtick is like, I'm gonna be chill in my torn jeans or whatever, or I'm just gonna wear slippers or rock up, but I commit to it and that's my thing, then that somehow gives you that kind of leverage as well. Typecasting definitely is real in this industry. You are judged primarily based on your looks. But that's something that I think everyone knows and they rely on it. But I agree with what Alex says, you just have to kind of like own your look and have confidence. Many times, because typecasting is real, if you don't get a role, if you don't get a certain project, you really don't know what the reason is. And you not looking the part is one reason that I hear very often. It's about whether you're suitable for that based on what this whole team of people outside is like brainstorming and discussing, and you have no control over that.
Would I care about how I look or exercise or anything if I wasn't doing this job? If I was designing apps for a living, for example. I mean, you clearly were doing both at the same time. I think I still would, just because like I just like how it physically and mentally makes me feel.
Can I just say that I was having this kind of thinking when I was at your age, but now that I'm 54, I don't really. I usually say I don't need makeup, and my hero is Morgan Freeman. I mean, she has a bit of powder, that's about it. But otherwise, the more I see him, the more I love looking at him. All those lines, all those indentations, all those marks are so full of characters, so full of stories. I just can't help staring at him. And I'm thinking, if my face is going to be like that, I would love to.
It's so striking,
Yeah,
it shows the story.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with rejection?
I don't go for audition.
Nice. Why? Do you still go for auditions?
No. Well, I've been there, I've been for audition, and I'm sure you all can feel the same thing. And you're told you didn't make it, like, wow, what happened? You didn't do enough. But shit, what's wrong with me?
Sometimes you're not even told that you don't get it. I guess that's one of the ways I cope with like rolling with punches. You just audition and then I throw my script away, or I forget about whatever I just did. Move on to the next project. Because usually, I mean, if we're lucky, we're working on at least more than one script, maybe 2 or 3. So then you just you juggle that and you just forget about what you just did, and focus on the next performance. That's kind of like what I do.
It's something my dad taught me, that going into the audition, everything is an experience. So just
Enjoy the ride.
Just enjoy the ride. Yeah.
That's so true. I was talking to one of my theatre friends, and I think one advice that they were given was that like when you graduate, that audition space is your stage. Go in there and you give it 200%, as if you were performing to like 300 people. I was like, that's like one of the best advice I've ever had, and then it kind of negates the whole rejection thing.
Take it while it's so important, because rejection is definitely going to be there. The previous thing we mentioned about people just coming in for a quick second and then just trying it out because they think it's an interesting life to lead. A lot of them don't take too well to that rejection, or they feel like success needs to happen like ASAP. When really rejection is so healthy, it's so needed, it's so welcome. You always definitely come out stronger unless you choose to not try again. Of course, there needs to be some realism involved, no one can do everything, that's just life. But at the same time, like, the rejection is it's very welcome. Never run away from it.
And looking in this room and the talent involved, and I mean, you've seen many people come and go in the industry. What's in your heart, for young budding talents? You want to make them up or just do good work?
And now you have so many platforms where you can showcase your talents. And I think that's great, because in the past, you have to know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone that you can pass a tape or have a chance to audition for. But having said that, this accessibility to platforms are also double-edged because a lot of people think just because they're on air on some social media, they are the star. And they don't have a true grip of who they really are, what the talent really is. I see many talents come in all nice, innocent, craving for hard work and passion and everything, but they earn a degree of fame, suddenly a lot of sunglasses, no respect to fellow workers and production crew and all that. They're just assholes. You've forgotten who you really are and who put you here. All these people who are around you made you happen, not you. Nobody is that good. I've won ATV awards 5 times, and each time it's not because I'm good. I'm this good only, but because of the crew and the production and all that, they make everything look good. So I think you should never forget that your attitude is so important.
That's it. Thanks very much, guys.